So President-elect Donald Trump is preparing more than 100 executive orders starting day one of the new White House. And thanks to Joe Biden, 99 of them have to do with removing the carpet stains in the Oval Office. The homeless L.A. man caught on video wielding a blowtorch is an illegal alien from Mexico. Democrat leaders were quick to defend him as an undocumented welder. Welder's a funny name. All right. I'll take it. It's Monday. Before taking office, L.A. Mayor Karen Bass said she would not go abroad. She might do abroad, but not go abroad.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 16 years of broadcast excellence, now in our 17th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. Biden's goodbyes stick it in our eyes. Evil for 50 years and much worse today. He's leaving with loathing of America and the world. He's left more crap on America and the world than all our cattle past and present. And his future as the worst president ever has seeped over to the Democratic Party. Pelosi admitted she was responsible for not having the National Guard on hand in 1/6, as Trump had offered. The stink of the 1/6 is laying on the Dems. Their destruction of the evidence and obstruction of justice as a whole body by deleting Trump's speech to protest peacefully. The evilness of this, combined with the FISA judges and the DC judges, a culpable mainstream media who hired mass journalists to spread manure all over Trump and his family as a full-time job. It's more obvious now than ever that the 2020 election was stolen and lied about by most of our three-letter agencies, and that Biden administration abused social media into dropping the First Amendment to lie to the world about Hunter and the millions he stole and spread throughout the entire Biden family, including the old man. America has had enough of these criminals and has suddenly switched sides. The oligarchs, referred to by Biden as ruining our democracy, are all kissing the hand of Donald Trump and contributing millions to him. As to Biden and his Democrat retrobates, they are planning actually more coups. America has spoken and will have none of that. We are done with the Dems, maybe for a decade or more, if they don't fix their ways, because Trump is now Moses. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dave Weinbaum. I'm here with JP's laughing a little bit. I could have said Jesus. I don't know. But Moses goes back a little further. I'm here with my lovely bride, Lisa Ann Weinbaum. Hi, Lisa Ann Weinbaum, or the Law, as she is known. Good morning. How are you today?
Okay.
You made it in today.
Okay, yeah.
And you
The
were
roads are a
early.
little better today.
You were
than they
early.
were last Friday.
You didn't cause any. You didn't have your stuff on, so that I couldn't do my monologue. So I'll thank you very, very much for that.
Okay.
JP Maxwell is here, and
Good morning.
I actually wrote down that I should greet Rick Henderson, because apparently in the snow and all the stuff we had to go through last week, it didn't get done. So Rick Henderson, howdy, my friend. He does all the bits and the clips for the show.
And also, to make sure I'm being a good producer,
Yeah.
I wanted to remind you that we have something to play. This is our thoughts on
Yeah.
what getting ready to be former President Joe Biden
Right.
had to say recently.
Let's do it.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now, isn't that appropriate for him and his stupid speeches? My goodness. He hates the Democrats now, and I'm sure many of the Democrats now hate him. He especially has it out for Pelosi. Apparently, she was the determiner of him getting kicked out of the race and putting Kamala in. And I can certainly understand that he would be pissed off about it, because there was no votes. Kamala had no votes. She didn't go through a primary. And so, yeah, he was kind of cheated out. And now he's claiming, well, he could have won. You see? So, but this guy has always been a distorted idiot. Nobody understood him from even the times when Clarence Thomas got up there and he was saying nasty things about Clarence Thomas, and Clarence Thomas was asked later, did you listen to what he said? He says, I couldn't understand a word he said. Now, how many people have said that over the years, not just recently? Donald Trump, in the debate that he had with the one debate he had with Biden, which was the catalyst probably for him getting kicked out, was he says, you know what? I didn't understand a word he said, and I'm not sure he understood a word he said. And there it is. It's consistently over the years. And then this corrupt individual starts in on oligarchs. He's got people like Soros giving him millions, and others who are in tech businesses and things like that. Well, guess what? They've all switched to Trump. As much as they're telling stories about Biden and his FBI and DOJ telling people what to do and what's the truth and what isn't the truth. Okay? And telling them what to print and what not to print. Where does this guy come off getting rid of our Second Amendment and our First Amendment, too? I mean, it's incredible. All right? So we've got a good show today. We've got, let's just say this. I've got this bit about, I'm not gonna play a lot of bits about it, but because I think the Gutfield thing is really interesting, because he covers the feeling of what we all have now. Even the Democrats, they're starting to come around. Some of them, even Chuck Schumer said, that the Greenland thing might be a hell of a good deal. I mean, what happened? What happened to you? So I think things are kind of changing, and even Trump is feeling it. It's not the same as it was in 2016. Even the mainstream media is starting to come around a little bit, or they're getting their butts kicked off of their programs now. They're all risking their jobs. So the people that have been identified are people that are, could be compromised by trying something with Trump. Here's Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. We're going to be talking about that later. He's calling all the way from I'm not sure. Israel, I think it is. He might be somewhere else. Are you in town?
I'm actually in California. It's 6:10 in the morning here.
Oh, really? Where's your
Yeah.
mask? Are you going there to fight fires or what?
No. I haven't seen any fires since I've been here.
All right. Well, I'll get to you in just a second.
Sure.
So, since you don't have the holiday, the
Shabbat.
weekend, the Shabbat to handle today. Anyways, we've got JJ coming on after the rabbi. JJ is going to be talking about, he'll be talking about all sorts of things involving the Constitution. Richard Lockwood, who knows all about things that most of us don't, and that's the outer space and aliens, maybe even aliens on Earth. Did the aliens come from outer space, or are they from the Earth? We can talk about that. Bill Hardwick's going to be great, as always, and we're going to especially focus on I can't say Hegwith, right? Hexeth. Yeah. And that's going to be interesting. And then we got Jeff Zink, who may or may not still be on the list for Robert F. Kennedy to be his main assistant, where he will be doing the Congress interviews in the House and the Senate, and he'll be the one giving the answers instead of just being one of them asking that person. So, anyways, and I'm going to be quick here because I almost had the rabbi in a bad position there. So, it's always fun getting him in a bad position. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, wartime rabbi, he converts dollars from you to help soldiers, widows, and their kids adjusting by bringing them together. He has been the official rabbi to the Dave Weinbaum Show for 15 years. Please welcome all the way from California, Moshe Rothschild. And there's his book. I forgot to say he's also an author. What's the name of your book?
Secrets of the Hebrew Bible.
It's a great book.
And you should get one. We sold a lot this week. It's available on the website, secretsofthehebrew.org.
Yeah, that's a great book. And it tells you that God was the one that invented Hebrew. How did that come about? How do you relate what God did to the people who were interpreting it?
Well, I mean, if you look in the first chapter of Genesis, it says 9 times God said. So if God is articulating and he's speaking, so there had to have been a language, and it's generally accepted amongst communities of all faiths that God spoke Hebrew. The language of creation was Hebrew.
Okay, so how did he originally communicate that to Adam and Eve and way back when? Do you know?
All right. Well, first of all, when it says God spoke the world into existence, there was no Adam and Eve. But once Adam and Eve were created on the 6th day, and God communicates with them. So I would posit that the language that God communicates was always Hebrew.
Okay, but they didn't have to sit in Hebrew school, did they? I mean, I just wonder how that was communicated. All right, we're going to learn this language here.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course not. I mean, Adam and Eve were quite different than you and I. They said that Adam and Eve didn't even have a belly button, because, of course, the belly button is where your umbilical cord is connected to your mother, and Adam and Eve were created from the dust of the ground. So,
started with
that's what. Yeah. So you know what?
They invented the belly button too.
Well, yeah, the first mother to carry a child. So these are good questions. We don't know the answers. Again,
right. But see, they're probably crazy questions to most people. But I can't help it. It's what interests me. How did all this?
Look, if God speaks, he's clearly speaking a language. If he's speaking to Adam and Eve. So the Bible doesn't say specifically that he spoke Hebrew, but the Bible is in Hebrew. The oldest copies are in Hebrew. So there's every reason, the evidence clearly points to the fact that Hebrew was the language of the Bible, the language of creation, the language with which God communicates. However, when God speaks, in later generations after Adam and Eve, when there are multiple languages, it's
Right.
quite possible that God communicated in the languages that were the vernacular that people knew. I mean, nothing is beyond God.
I'm not. I understand very few words of Hebrew. I couldn't. I'd have to really study it to learn it, and I haven't done it. I mean, I did a little bit in Hebrew school. Obviously, I got it, but it never really rang with me. I wasn't that bright, and so, but I did love the idea of Jews and what we went through. And I always was. I mean, I was to the point to where I actually had a rabbi trying to recruit me to be a rabbi, you know.
Mm.
But I was a terrible student in high school, and I don't know. I didn't. I was interested in the religion, but not to necessarily make it my life. So, but it's become more and more important to me as I get older. Why is that? Why is it getting more important to me as I get older? Am I a little afraid of death, maybe, or what?
Look, I mean, that could be a part of it, but I think it's also that it's a function of other things becoming less important. When you're younger, certain people, it might be they're excited about money, about a fancy car, a fancy house. But as you
Right.
get older, you realize those things are less important. So the void kind of needs to be filled. People try to find meaning in things when they're young, and as they get older, they realize those things have no meaning, or
Right.
they're ancillary and they're not as important. So you're left filling a void. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people in Hollywood will turn to drugs or alcohol because they're missing something. But fortunately, Dave, that didn't happen to you. But you have found meaning in things that perhaps when you were younger were less meaningful to you, and your attention has been redirected. So that's a good thing.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
there is a lot of truth to that because at a certain point you realize that you're not going to be here forever, and
Right.
forever is in believing in something that's a lot bigger than you are and a lot
Right.
more satisfying. Because
Right.
someday I could actually be sitting there with greats of all time and talking about religion or whatever, and throwing out ideas at each other like I'm doing with you.
Yeah, I think
About that?
yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
look
I think
forward?
that
What do you look forward to after life?
look, I look forward to just enjoying the being in the presence of God, and I think that's
Yeah,
something that it's hard for us to understand what that means in this world, but
right.
but I think that's how we see it as, and the things that get us closer to God are the things that are forever, kindness and love and loving people, and those are the things that will last forever, and that's what we'll bring with us. We're not going to bring with us our money, but we'll bring with us what we did with our money. There's a famous story about, I think, the Rothschild family, one of the founders, who had been very charitable, and they asked him, how much money do you have? And he went out and he brought out a basket of receipts. And he goes, these are all the receipts that I gave to charity. He goes, that's how much money I have. I thought it's a powerful story, because at the end of the day, money's a tool, and you realize that when you get older, but we sometimes invest our health and all our energy into trying to get money, and then we realize it's a tool. Some people use the tool for bad things, some people use it for good things, and all the good things we do, I think we take with us. Not the material, but what we do with the material. You have a nice house, you
Right.
invite people over, you know.
Yeah, I think it's also has to do with how you if you want to do stuff,
Mhm.
who are you going to call on? I mean, it's like Ghostbusters, but you're going to call
Right.
on God. All right, and if you really want an extra hand in there, um, I'm a believer in that, and I've been more and more of that than anything else because God helps me. I think, and he makes me a lot less afraid, a lot tougher. I think he helps my grandchildren. Some of my grandchildren are Christian, for goodness sakes, and they're great people. They're great people. So, anyways, let me ask you this now. Let's get back to business. Gaza hostage deal, the ceasefire, 6 weeks, two 6-week periods. Trump's responsible. Biden says he did it. What is it now? It went back now, and now it's back again with Trump calling Bibi and saying we got to make this deal. And what's going on? It's a mess.
Well, you know what? It's. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing or not hearing. So if I had to conjecture, I would imagine Trump did put pressure on Bibi, but perhaps, I mean, I've heard all kinds of rumors that what I did hear, a rumor that did resonate with me, although I have no proof for this, is that Israel is planning to go after Iran, and that Trump perhaps had said, make this deal and I'll give you everything you need and I'll give you the political cover and whatever it takes to go after Iran. But you got to do one for me. And that is, let's make this deal happen, even though it isn't the best deal. Although, people are very torn, because what we have to give up is a lot, but getting back those hostages is a big deal too. So but it's really mixed feelings.
You're letting go free about 1,000 terrorists, and
it's true.
So I go back now. I'm wondering, is this another mowing of the lawn? And
right, that's exactly the mixed feelings. Are we? And other people say, you know what? We're not going back to pre-October 7th, but we are making a deal that isn't necessarily the best deal for us. But that's what deals are, but we'll see. We'll see if there's something else that we don't know about. If this deal is the precursor to taking out Iran, so maybe it is worthwhile.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can understand Trump being relentless against Iran. He put them away once, and we know who they grew under. They grew under Barack Obama and Biden. And Biden went right away and put these $1.5 billion reward for hostages released, U.S. hostages released back. And these guys must have said to themselves, "Wow, we got to do this on a big scale." Ergo, October 7th, 2023.
Right. Look, we all know that what you see in the media is never the full picture. So I'm just hoping that
that's why
the full picture is better.
You got inside information, right? You're the second most powerful person in Israel.
Look, we do know that
your wife Yoni.
That's why I'm here. If I'm not home, then I am the most powerful.
Yeah.
So the truth is that Israel has been holding out from making any kind of deal, and the question is why now? And so there's definitely something going on that I think Bibi decided to move forward. Look, he could torpedo the deal, but he didn't.
Well, he didn't want to put Trump in a bad spot. Trump is a big. He doesn't.
He doesn't want.
Trump is more powerful than ever right now, in my opinion.
Right. I agree. I'm here in California. I was shocked. I cannot believe how many of the Californians support Trump here. Everybody I'm talking to.
Yeah. Well, he probably never had
California.
Probably have never seen a legitimate election there, at least in the last maybe 15 years.
And these fires are turning them even more to the right, to the Republicans.
Yeah. Well, how do these guys keep their jobs? And look at this Karen Bass, who said she would never, ever leave the country, and did it 5 times, and where when the fire started, she was in where? She was in Ghana.
Yeah, she was over.
West Africa.
Yeah, here today, Here today, Ghana tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was long Ghana.
Yeah, she said
But
she'd never go abroad, but she, as Gutfeld said, yeah, but she'd do abroad, you know. So anyhow, so do you have any Ben and Jerry rants? I mean Ben and Jerry scoops and or Rabbi rants? That
I
pisses
don't
you off
really,
right
but you know,
now. What are you pissed
I,
at right now? Damn it.
I mean, I'm really pissed off, to be honest, when I watch the celebrations in the streets of Bethlehem and all the other Arab areas where they're celebrating what they call a victory. You know,
Yeah,
when
exactly.
we it gets me angry, and you know, because the bar that they set for victory is very low. That is, at least one person survives. You know, and
Exactly.
from their bar is very low, but you
And
know,
they go right
there's
back
nothing
to
to,
planning your deaths again.
yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, and it's not going to happen that Israel's going to commit the genocide that the world is accusing us of. But you know, short of that, they're going to celebrate, and that ticks me off to no end to watch them celebrating.
What would you estimate the anti-Semitism to be in the world? How many billions of people now hate Jews just because we're Jews?
I mean, the numbers are staggering. I saw
I think
the
4
numbers.
billion is what I
Yeah,
saw. About 4 billion.
yeah,
4 billion with no reason at all. Just say kill the Jews. Okay, that's why I want that
yeah.
idea. I want that IDF idea to go to BB about us having a force that comes out of Israel that goes to these countries and picks out these leaders that are sent
Yeah.
by Iran and nails their asses. And especially if the country there is tolerating, maybe even encouraging it.
Right, exactly.
Hey, come on to Israel. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, Dave, I'm gonna have to cut this short. My son, who's in Gaza for a month, I see he's gonna call me in a minute.
Okay.
So I got to grab this call.
All right. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people buy your book and contribute?
Oh, here, just got a message from him. He's coming out of Gaza.
He's coming
which
out
is
of
amazing.
Gaza. Yay!
Yeah, he was
A round of applause for
Yeah.
coming out of Gaza. Okay.
live.
I have one more question. When do they make him a general?
In my eyes, he already is.
All right. Okay.
So they can reach, to answer your question, they can get my book here, secretsofthehebrewbible.org, and they can go to our website, israelalliance.org, or facebook.com/Israel Alliance, and we'd love to hear from you guys.
You know, I don't carte blanche. I let her walk on her own. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. You say hi to that kid of yours, okay?
You got it.
He's a hero.
You got it.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. All the best.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, we
Bye-bye.
got plenty of time. And let's see what we want to do here. Let's play a couple more of those clips. Those are really good clips, the Gutfeld clips. Hit it.
So the sign of a wise person is their ability to change once they realize they made a mistake. Whether you're a former liberal who's finally come around, or perhaps an organization admitting that you've hired some real idiots. Now,
thanks for coming, B.
Now, okay. Had to get that out of my system. Now, remember, making a mistake doesn't define you. It's what you do after the mistake. You can either say, I admit what I did and I'm ready to try something new, or just keep blaming it on climate change. It's especially true when it comes to Donald Trump. Most idiots dig in their heels hating him, even at the cost of destroying themselves. Look at Robert De Niro. He played a boxer, but it was Trump that gave him brain damage. Oh, sure, I was early pro-Trump. We've heard these rumors that you might run for president, and I was wondering if you do and you win, what would be my role?
Well, I think you'd be a fantastic press secretary. Mm-hmm. You know, would finally have a little personality in that position.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Now, but fast forward a few months. People defend him about making fun of a disability, making fun of John McCain, making fun of women, a woman's face. It just never ends. No one will ever stop defending the crass stuff he says. He's very impulsive. He instead of thinking about what he says, he's impulsive, and it makes you wonder: do you want an impulsive leader, or do you want a leader that thinks? I want somebody who can beat Hillary. I don't think an impulsive leader is going to beat Hillary. Why was I like that? Was it because Dana and I did a line of coke in the bathroom right before showtime? No. She offered, but I said not today.
Wow.
But you know, when I hear myself describing Trump, it reminds me of myself. Witty, powerful, outspoken. And we both dated supermodels. Shout out to Fabio. But why was I so emotional about it? Well, here's an analogy. In the late 1970s, I couldn't wait to hear the Sex Pistols. They were punk rock, and they were going to destroy all the mainstream crap on the radio. But when I got the record, I hated it. It was loud and scary and ugly and evil, and I didn't get it. So I separated the record from my collection. I didn't want its evilness to rub off on my Cheap Trick records like some type of musical STD. But then time passed, and I decided to give it another shot, and it blew my mind. The record didn't change. I did. What happened there? Why did it take time? Well, like Trump, the Pistols were not asking for me to like it. And I resented that confidence, but then I grew to love it. That's the Trump effect in 3 steps. It's repulsion, confusion, then affection. It's the same 3 emotions I get when I stick my finger in Larry Kudlow's belly button. That's why he's smiling. And so the Trumpian messages that used to upset me then resonated. I changed. Trump didn't. So when people in the media said, I used to like Gutfeld, but he's changed, damn right I changed. If you don't, when you realize you're wrong, you're a idiot.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy, but also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender, all one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have. Gotta reach 'em, see it right now. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can deposit your check from your phone. But that's not why our customers love us. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. We're locally owned and we'll take the time to understand your needs. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, coming up next, we've got J.J. Bradshaw. He's going to be talking about stuff about what's going on with the with the Constitution and with all the stuff coming up, all the hearings and things like that. We're going to talk a lot about that with Bill Hardwick and some crazy out of sight things, and even some time travel with Richard Lockhart, and finally Jeff Zink, who's up for Robert F. Kennedy to be his main assistant. That's going to be amazing right there. And he's a good friend, and he's told me that Robert Kennedy said he wants him. So we'll see where that goes. And we're going to be talking to him, and there's a picture of him and Josh Hawley all of a sudden on his Facebook page. So go ahead and look at that. And look who we've got. This gentleman is early, and that's always a good thing. But he is a he's a terrific guy, first of all. and he is an expert on the Constitution and First, Second Amendment, and he's also a great gun aficionado, and he is 256 years old, for goodness sakes. He used to pick up gals in Virginia at ye old bar with, people like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and others like that. And he is absolutely the expert on this show and the opening act, and will be again as the rabbi seeks more room in the summer. Please welcome all the way from Rolla, Missouri, JJ Bradshaw. Morning, JJ. How are you? I can't hear you. Cannot hear you. He muted himself somehow. Huh? He muted himself somehow. He neutered himself? How do you do that?
JJ, somehow you muted yourself, and I can't unmute you from here.
Not working. All right. Well, why don't you? I'll talk while he's doing it. I'm going to ask him a few questions out there about some stuff that are happening right now, and so you get that solved, and I'll just go along with the show. Ireland, small towns in Ireland that have been there forever. Well, they're installing aliens into areas which have always been Irish, and they're doing it by force. The police are going to these towns, and they're building facilities for these aliens. Most of them are from the Middle East. They're Muslim, most of them, and it's getting to be quite a problem there, just as we've seen in other places. So that's going on there. There's about, by the way, I was talking with the rabbi. We figure there's about 4 million or 4 billion adults who are anti-Semitic in this world, just because they don't like Jews. And is he on?
Yeah, but I'll bring the comments up. We can read those as we're waiting.
All right. Okay. Rick Camino, good morning. Yes, I remembered your friend Rick Henderson. He's a good guy sometimes. John Jeffrey Bradshaw, going to be a good one. I sure hope so. When we get you fixed up. And we got Owen McNamee. Good morning, Patriots. Thanks for all your help last night moving the show. As always, a great Patriot. You ought to follow him on Facebook and Twitter. Patricia Odin Maxwell. Sounding good, looking good. Go team. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Hello, Dave.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Got a little problem on this end, but I think I have it remedied.
Okay, cool.
Let's briefly add something to what the rabbi had to say.
Yes.
I thought that he was going to talk a lot about the ceasefire, and he alluded to it some.
Yeah.
But let me add a few lines to that.
Sure.
A ceasefire with Hamas is a very tenuous thing. And I think what Bibi Netanyahu is waiting for is for Hamas to violate that ceasefire, which they no doubt will do within a day or two. And he can turn right back on and wage war with them. They are not to be trusted. Hamas is... Say again, Dave?
I agree with that 100%. That's why I'm asking. Is this just another deal where you're going to give them 1,000 terrorists that are in jail right now for murdering Jews, and you're going to give those people back? You're just going to have them replanning and getting their equipment up and attacking again.
That gives them the opportunity to kill those terrorists when the war starts back up in earnest again. They know who these
they know that
are. So they're going to know who to go for.
Okay.
But yeah, I wish that the rabbi had alluded a little more to the fact that Hamas and any of the terrorists have violated ceasefires so many times.
Yeah.
They are not to be trusted. And, I think, speaking of the ceasefire, I think Donald Trump had his fingers in this big time. I read the transcript of Joe Biden's little farewell speech. He is a senile, bitter man, and I'll be happy to see him go. But he generally laid claim to this ceasefire. And,
it was all him.
You recognize that if he had any kind of influence, this ceasefire would have happened a long time ago.
Well, the war wouldn't have happened. Let's go back even to the fact that he let out hostages from America that were in Iran and for each one of the 6, they gave him 1.5 billion of our dollars.
Yeah,
and Hamas is saying, what? Do we? And then you had the 10/7 23 attacks.
Now this becomes a business model for them, Dave.
What a business model! Hell yeah!
Thank goodness, in a couple of days we will be done with this senile, foolish administration, who, frankly, has done everything wrong. I can't think of a single thing in 4 years of Joe Biden that has come out right. It's been garbage from one end to the other.
Well, the only benefit I see, the only one, is that it's making a lot of Democrats look like idiots who backed him and Kamala.
It's made them rich.
It is, and it's made some of them rich, including his family.
Oh yeah,
Biden and his family. But it also is the revelation of all the stuff they were doing to the mainstream media and to social media to make them lie about what was really going on.
Yeah.
So now we get it. Now we all get it.
Joe talked about the oligarchs and big tech. If you look at the facts on this thing, and they're still unfolding, but it was Joe Biden's administration that colluded with big tech to censor, particularly over the COVID business. This was our federal government that was orchestrating this thing. And now for Joe to come back and say, oh my God, we're going to be run by oligarchs. Joe, wake up and smell the roses, change your depends and get back to reality. You were the guy that did this stuff.
That's right.
Now, probably wasn't you, because you don't have the mental acuity to take care of things like this, but you can bet the communists in your organization were pulling those strings.
So where did they come from? Where did they come from? Where did all these people come from in the Biden administration?
I don't know, but I can tell you that
they came from the Obama administration.
We're talking serious leftists here that swung the executive branch far, far, far left.
Yeah.
And I'm very hopeful that Donald J. Trump is going to change some of these things. And speaking of change, some of the orders that Joe has given, the flurry of them in the last few weeks, he just commuted the sentence to 2,500 more people.
Yeah.
Good for you, Joe. Let's let the criminals loose. But there is a thing called the Congressional Review Act. And I'm sure that Joe Biden's minions are fairly sure that the executive orders that he has written, some of them, cannot be overturned by the Trump administration. That's partly true. That's where the Congressional Review Act comes into play. Have you ever heard of this thing?
Never. Who did it?
The way executive orders work, Dave, is, for instance, Biden will direct his Department of Public Safety, let's just say, to enact some guidance. And I put that guidance in quotations.
Yeah.
And that has the rule of law until somebody overturns it. Well, there is a thing called the Congressional Review Act, in which Donald J. Trump can direct each of the organizations that he has a bone to pick with to provide to Congress the guidance that they have written. And then Congress gets to act on it. Now we have the force of law. Executive orders are temporary things. They don't have the force of law except during the time that they're enforced.
Was this enforced during Biden's 60 or 70 executive orders?
Well, it hasn't been yet, because it takes somebody like Donald J. Trump to come into office and say, show me the guidance that you guys have promulgated. and give it to the Congress and let the Congress decide on whether this is reasonable.
How long is that going to take?
Well, who the hell knows, Dave?
I know. Well, the thing is that he can get in there and become moot if they take out all of those 4 years to do this, right?
I think this can be done relatively quickly if he has a Congress that is amenable to doing these things.
Well, he does right now, for the most part.
We've got a pretty slim majority in the Congress, so we'll see. But things that these guidance documents did, for instance, Department of Education sexual orientation guidance, HHS gender change guidance, Treasury's climate-related financial risk guidance, EPA, environmental justice, HUD, DOE, there's so many of these things. Now, some of these Donald Trump can strike immediately, and I'm sure he's going to do that come Monday afternoon.
He's going to do all immediately, and probably after the fact, go in and do what you're saying.
And it's likely to happen. At least he has a mechanism. I think Biden, his cabal, is chuckling that some of these things that they put into place, Trump's going to have a hell of a time getting them reversed. Well, the Congressional Review Act is what does that. That's the mechanism that can be used for some of these stickier guidance. In particular, the ATF. You know, I'm a Second Amendment guy, and the ATF, since Obama, has been weaponized against gun dealers, gun owners, anything gun-related.
Right.
And I think there's going to be some changes coming. The current head of the ATF, if he's not going to resign immediately, he's going to be kicked out on his butt.
Yeah.
And they're going to put somebody in there that's a little more pro-gun, or at least a little more reasonable. So let's talk about January 6th for a minute. Revelations have occurred in the last few days that the FBI had over 24 confidential informants running around on Jan 6, some inside the building, some outside the building.
I have an update. Jeff Zink says it was about 2,000 between all the three-letter things. About 2,000 people were running around this place.
That would not surprise me, but at least it's on the record for 24. The FBI, on the other hand, stonewalled when they were talking to a congressional committee about it and said, we don't know anything about that.
Exactly.
Oh, you lied. They also said they don't know anything about the bomb that was set outside.
Collusion. There was collusion between that committee and the FBI and the DOJ.
There's no doubt in my mind. So let's take a little trip down to Georgia. You remember Stacey Abrams?
Oh, sure.
Big, fat black gal that was going to be the governor of Georgia.
She still thinks she's the governor.
She claims that election was stolen from her.
Right.
Well, the Georgia State Ethics Commission, day before yesterday, fined her nonprofit, which, by the way, she owns, $300,000 for 16 election violations. 16 violations of state campaign finance laws. And turns out three of these nonprofits, which she runs, donated $3.2 million to her campaign funds.
Gee, what a shock.
What a shock. That was a revelation to me because normally these things don't ever see the light of day.
Yeah, I wonder why that happened. What happened?
Somebody's after her.
Well, somebody, and maybe these guys like Kemp and the Secretary of State, I can't pronounce his name, have gotten religion back and stopped what they did to Trump in 2020.
Well, the fact that Georgia, which frankly during that election that we're talking about was thoroughly corrupt as far as the election was concerned, has maybe seen Jesus. I certainly hope so.
But in my case, Moses.
Well, it's all right. Either one will work.
We have equivalated now Donald Trump as Moses. That didn't come from me. It came from like maybe Hannity or one of the other talking heads at
Dave,
Fox.
You are welcome in my book to talk to the burning bush if you wish. It's fine with me.
I thought I was talking to the burning bush. My God, you're almost as old as it.
Well, I wasn't there to see the bush burn, but yeah, I've been around a while.
Speaking of Bush, all these guys are JP's telling me they're not showing up to the inauguration.
Well, good.
Bush, no, I mean, but so nasty. What nasty?
You know, if they want to show their shallowness by snubbing Donald Trump, go right ahead. I know Michelle Obama's not going to be there. Good. That'll be one less male in the audience.
Oh, shut up.
But, you know, let's quickly talk about Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing. I don't know if you watched that thing or not. I did. And
I watched about the whole thing.
It showed the shallowness of the Democrats in spades. And Mazie Hirono, who is a lunatic senator from Hawaii, this woman is an escapee from the asylum. And she was screaming at Pete Hegseth. Now, what did I take away from this thing? They spent a lot of time talking about him having sex with people and drinking too much. And oh my God, all of these things. The Democrats talked very little about what he might do as Secretary of Defense.
And what he might do in contrast to Austin and Milley.
Yeah,
let's say in the Afghanistan debacle.
They might as well have held hands and sang "Kumbaya" in those hearings. And here Hegseth is now. They were trying very hard to beat him up, Dave, and the man was very cool.
Yeah,
and stuck with the facts.
Yeah,
and towards the end of that thing, I watched it on C-SPAN. Towards the end of that thing, it was clear to me that he had won this thing.
Yeah, me too.
And the takeaway that I had was the Democrats on that committee showed themselves up to be shallow, inept, just not worth being on that committee, folks. I don't think you'll see this again. I think the balance of the hearings on advise and consent are going to run a little smoothly.
I watched a little bit of the Bondi one. They tried to bully her.
She
stopped it. She stopped these guys, and she said, "Hey, you know what? I get to answer questions and stuff that you've posed at me. You don't get to just tell it, and then we go to the next question. I'm going to answer it whether you like it or not."
Pam Bondi,
that was great. That was great stuff.
She picked that committee like a redheaded stepchild, and I think she is going to be
correct,
an amazing leader.
I think she's going to be terrific, and I think these guys are scared to death of her, especially Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff. Now, there's a man that should die from cancer. He really God needs to take him away.
He is a terrible person, in my opinion, as well, because he's a lying, you know what? I mean, he lied about all this crap, the 1/6 stuff, and
January 6th. That was nothing but a sham, Dave. Now, you and I watched parts of that thing, and it was nothing but a sham. And speaking of crazy people, let's talk about Tim Kaine, because he came across as a lunatic.
I love his hair, though. I mean, I want his hair. Come on.
No, you don't.
I know.
No, if you had his hair, that would mean you had the brain underneath it of him, and you don't want any part of that. That thing is nasty.
And I was wondering what he was doing as Hillary's running mate, because what did her husband do? How many women was he accused of raping? And he's over there pointing his finger at Hegseth.
Let's not forget the blue dress in the Seaman state.
Oh yeah, Lewinsky. Wow.
But you know, Tim Kaine, it struck me while he was raving that this was Hillary Clinton's running mate, and a less likable person you might not ever find, except maybe Hillary herself. This was a bond made in hell, and he too came off as shallow and a lunatic, and not much interested in answers as he was accusations. This is what these hearings have degenerated into. And I think the public comment on that I have read, the overall on these hearings have been the Democrats have come off as losers in this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And perhaps rightfully so.
Well, a lot of them are coming. See that, there's been stuff that's going on in the Alex Jones show. I don't know if you know about that.
I do not.
Dan Bongino is saying, "Hey, these guys got something planned for the inauguration, and it ain't good." Okay,
might be.
Biden referred to maybe riots and things like that. So we're not out of the woods here yet. And then you got all these presidential ex-presidents going to miss the inauguration.
So I reread the articles. I want to make sure I had it right. Right now, what they're saying is that they're talking about attending the inauguration, but not attending the inaugural lunch, which is also a customary thing for them to attend as long as they're still living. But there was also some speculation in the article I read that they still think they may end up opting out of the inauguration altogether. But right now they're saying we'll go to the inauguration, but we're not going to the lunch, which has been a customary thing for.
What do they know, and when did they know it?
Well, JP, this just shows how shallow and useless these people are. Who cares about it?
They may have something up their sleeve that they don't want.
If this turns into Jan 6 with the Democrats doing the damage, I'm all for it. Let's arrest them all and send them to Guantanamo. I hear they're opening.
What I'm saying. What I'm saying is that despite all this stuff, the American people have spoken. We're tired of this crap. We don't believe you anymore. You're lying bastards. And you guys ruined the economy for us. We got wars all over the place. The world is a a blank hole right now because of you. Mm-hmm. And we got all the proof we need. We don't want you anymore. And a lot of Democrats are actually moving over. A lot of blacks moved over to Trump. Young people moved over to Trump. Women moved over to Trump. Asians, Mexicans, and other, Italians. Everybody's going to Trump.
Well, the question becomes,
all that.
How much insanity are the voters willing to put up with? And it appears that they have reached the limit on how much they're willing to put up.
I think so too, but you never know. They could try and they could do some damage.
They're welcome to try anything they want. I think Donald J. Trump is going to take care of this no matter what. Let's pray that he does not get assassinated someplace.
Well, somebody said when I brought up assassination, it says this wasn't the second one. This was by the golf course after the guy shot him in the roof from the roof with a clean shot that just was a miracle. It was God's miracle that this guy's alive, okay? And I said there's been 4 others. There's been 6 other attempts. 6 attempts total so far. So they're out there, all right? And Joe Biden was calling them to get on it. He was
their playbook
right up to yesterday.
Right here.
Yeah.
That is the playbook of the Democrat Party. I am rereading that.
Yeah.
And this is not a plug for Chris, but I am rereading this as well.
Yeah.
These guys are using a playbook right out of the 60s. And those of us who read we're good for that. We know what they're doing. I think they're going to be, in essence, ineffectual in any of this stuff because of public sentiment. I think public sentiment is being heard more now than it has even in the 1960s, where people were just raising hell. The electorate's not going to put up with a lot of crap from these people, and I think the pressure is going to be put on them to either stand in line or get out.
I hope
Donald Trump is the guy that caused that to happen.
Like you ain't going to put up with it. You're going to be armed. You're going to know what you're doing. I'm going to be armed. I'm not going to know what I'm doing, but I'm going to be armed.
You need a little training, Dave. You need to come see me.
I know. Yeah, my wife. Yeah.
Be happy to help you with that.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that too.
So the fact is, this week has been just hellish as far as things to talk about. My list is long.
Yeah,
we haven't touched much of it. And
I even wrote some stuff for you, which I hardly ever do. For example, disinformation. Joe calls out high tech stopping stopping to censor Trump. It calls out the people at Meta and Facebook.
He caused that stuff. He was the prime mover. Well, not him, because he doesn't have enough sense to pour pee out of a boot with the instructions written on the heel. But his cabal that is around him has caused these things. And I'd love to know the names. I'm sure they have hidden them very well. But I'd love to see published who were the folks that were the prime movers behind this, because they really are traitors. They really have violated our First Amendment rights and done so with impunity, and I think they need to pay a price for that.
Well, as long as you're here, I want to run through the. We've gotten some messages, and I'm sure there's one or two that probably refer to you, although I'm not sure. Usually, somebody says something to you about you, and here we go for Shannon Reed. Happy for you, Rabbi. Safe travels to you and your son. That's Shannon Reed. What else? Good morning, Dave and crew. Hi, Shannon.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shannon.
All right, we got Christopher Rosani, who is he's known as the Godfather. You got to watch what you say about him. Tim Kaine has no right to question Pete Hegseth about alcohol when he looks like a real boozer with that nose and hairdo. Okay. What it be, Godfather and Godfather again, safe travel for the rabbi and his son. All right. So other than that, where can people find you and your lovely wife, Jean? And
people can find me right here in Rolla, Missouri. Yes. My friends know where I am, and I make sure my enemies do not.
Good for you.
David, it has been my pleasure.
And Tim Owens, great show. Thank you. Appreciate that. You're the best opening act and a good friend, and love you both. Let's hear it for John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Okay, my friend. All righty. Have we done anything that's remotely funny yet?
That's perspective, I guess.
No.
But...
That's perspective? No?
No.
Don't you have anything funny?
No.
No? You are funny. You are funny without knowing you're funny. That's a real, that is a really big thing to have. You can say a few things to me. I got 5 jokes. Serious. I'm serious, and you don't know you don't even know you're doing it.
Well, I was quiet, so you had no fodder there to make.
No fodder?
No fodder.
No, my father died. He died a while back. Yes, he did.
No fodder.
All right. Anyways, let's do. Father. That's my son Aaron came up with that one. All right, let's do. Let's put Pelosi on. Let's put her on the. The Frankenstein one, because she's been Frankenstein on Joe Biden. That poor guy Joe. This is Nancy Pelosi.
You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
This is Nancy Pelosi.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Who was that? How did she get in there? Oh, God. Talk about oligarchs. Joe, you're supposed to keep her under control still. She's the vice president, not the president. And boy, do they loathe each other. Okay, he hates her. He blames her. He blames Pelosi. My gosh!
After hearing that, I don't feel so good.
Well, here's what you can take for that. Ivermectin. Hit it. Ivermectin, I take it by the pill. Ivermectin, the pandemic it will chill. Ivermectin, I let it take its course. Ivermectin, now I'm neighing like a horse. All righty. And that drug is getting amazing ratings on saving lives. And it was so, you couldn't go out of the house and say ivermectin and have people say, "Are you out of your mind? It's terrible." They all lied about it. And millions of people died because they wouldn't let them take that.
A lot of people, I mean, you mentioned ivermectin during COVID out in the open, and people would literally neigh at you like a horse.
Yeah. Well,
quite literally.
Okay. And my wife, who had horses and had cattle, she used to bring me some ivermectin, and it saved both of us, probably. Christopher Ranzini. Good morning, Dave, and to your lovely wife, Lisa. When Lisa came to the show this morning, she brought the sunshine with her. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Godfather.
Thank you so much.
Now quit trying to pick up my wife. What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you, for God's sakes? Okay, so we're back again, and I heard the Oscars were going to be canceled because of the LA fires. I don't know what the Rabbi's doing down in California. Big tech going to Inaugural. They're all going out there to kiss the ring. Isn't that something? And we're talking about the Washington Post, Gazas, and Zucker. All these other guys that are in high tech, Google, all these guys that hated him. They're all going to go out and kiss the ring. Cook, the phone guy. I mean, just incredible amount of people. I wonder if the Chinese government, Xi, is going. Do you know?
I have not heard.
Because he was invited. I don't think this will be a very friendly one for him. He owes us. And all these guys that told us, Fauci, for example, that, this thing was not done by them. They had nothing to do with it. They didn't put any money into it. It was from bats in this wet market and stuff like that. They all lied. They knew exactly what they did. They lied 7 or 8 times about this, and it caused the deaths of millions and millions of people. And sure, some billionaires coming out of, or oligarchs coming out of the drug companies like Pfizer.
And meanwhile, where is Anthony Fauci? You can't find him.
Well, he's probably probably in Italy or something.
He's in another country for sure.
Probably.
He's tucked away somewhere.
Yeah, you wonder where these guys are going. Where did Christopher Wray go? The head of the FBI.
You notice they all disappeared real quick, and we haven't heard from them since.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because a lot of these people are going to be indicted. I think they are going to be examined by Bondi. She ain't going to back down, that's for sure.
They get in trouble, all of a sudden they leave, and it's just
we'll
can't
see.
find them.
We'll see. The justice so far that's been exalted on them is the American people waking up about this. We've been talking about this here for a long time. Christopher Rosani, what do Harris and Pelosi have in common? They are witches. Okay, one cackles like one, and the other rides a broom. All right. Somebody have a bucket of water. Okay, this guy's taking over the show. All righty. So, what do we got next? We got Mr. Lockwood. Mr. Lockwood, yeah, this should be fun. Okay, we'll see how that works. He's always a hoot, though. Really, they like him here. They like to hear about this stuff. And I swear there's something to this time travel. And the fact that there's places on Earth that these spaceships fly into, it's like there's a cave somewhere. They fly to full force or in the ocean. And does anyone here believe that there's no such thing as space aliens? Anyone? Raise your hand. Are you from Branson? What's going on? Do you know, or do you have any idea? I know what I saw back in about 1981 or 82, and that was in broad daylight. Broad daylight. Suddenly, I had I was going to my then house. Actually, I was getting divorced at the time. I was in a smaller house, her having the bigger house at the time, and I remember a feeling that something was happening behind me, and I look around, and there's this huge silver metal tube, and it's sitting up not far away from me. I swear it was just about a half a block away, but it was like about 30 feet off the ground, and it wasn't making any noise, but it was just sitting there. And I'm looking around for people. It was a real spooky July day, I think it was, and there was all sorts of tumbleweed blowing over, but I didn't see another person. I mean, I wanted someone else to verify this thing, and sure enough, I was there for a good minute or so, and then all of a sudden, it took off. It took off, and you didn't hear anything, and it just almost disappeared immediately. You could see it go, and then a little speck, and that was it. No sound. Now, I saw this. I know I did. And so that tells me there's something there. Was it a man-made thing? Well, it could have been, but that's pretty good for the 1980s, early 1980s, to have that kind of vehicle do that. Do you ever have anything like that happen to you? We're leaving ex-wives out of this.
Okay, I was going to say I need a little more context. Not that I recall. So if something did happen, they wiped my memory. So I'll put it that way.
Well, they could have done that to me.
Maybe they did.
Maybe
they did.
Well, maybe we've all had that. But I remember that. Why would they want me to know that?
I feel like I need the Twilight Zone music again right now.
Well, I wonder if we can get away with that.
I don't know. We better not risk it.
I know. Now that everybody loves us, now that Zuckerberg loves us, it's a matter of like I'm a Jewish guy too,
Unfortunately, that wasn't Zuckerberg. That was the music company, so they're still probably out
I
for
don't
money.
know. I don't know so much about that. I think that stuff was overblown. I mean, they were going to sue me, and we stalled them a little bit, and the SOBs, it cost me about $9,000, $10,000 in legal fees for copyrights and stuff. And guess what? I haven't heard from them in 6 months. They're done. Yeah, that's about it. So I thought it was a scam to get people scared and pay them off $30,000 for nothing. So there you go. All right. I think we should take another commercial break. And soon after that, we're going to have, Richard Lockwood on our show. So why don't you hit that? And we'll be right back.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the #1 sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted.
Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, we're back, and in a couple minutes you're going to hear from, the expert on time travel. His grandfather wrote a book about Baron Trump and his penthouse in Manhattan, and it was sponsored by John Trump, who was Donald Trump's uncle. But guess what year this was? 1895. Okay, I still don't have an answer to that, but you can look at it, right? You can get the book. All right. I think it's on sale on Amazon. And there's a couple other books that are involved too. But Trump himself talked about his uncle John as a professor at MIT in the 40s. Okay, so did he go all the way back to 1895? Was he like born around then? Was he a young man? I mean, because he definitely has his name on this book. And obviously, Baron Trump wasn't born, wasn't even thought of at the time, I'm sure. But he also had a dog named Bulger. And they think the dog was named after the hero Patton.
It was dog Bulger for Battle of the Bulge.
Battle of the Bulge.
From what I recall, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So this is really weird, all right? Supreme Court ruling TikTok to shut down unless sold. Ooh. Supreme Court says TikTok can be banned in the U.S. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I was thinking about how they would.
There's a lot of concerns that China's misusing TikTok, and I think that's why all this is coming down. So
it's kind of interesting because Trump is in favor of them being okayed because of all the young people that voted for him. Right. Isn't that interesting? Right. Let me tell you a little bit about my grandson Dax. He is, and I got great grandchildren. I mean, really, really neat kids. He is a 106-pound wrestler at St. James High School. He's a freshman. He just won the Four
Rivers Conference.
Four Rivers Conference. He won it. Okay, as a freshman. These are all, sizes, all whatever. But at 106, that is the lowest weight you can wrestle at. I remember it was 10. I think I wrestled at 101 my freshman year. I was 5'1". Daxton, however, he's about 5'6" right now.
He's shorter than that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. When he got out there on that mat, he was wrestling another pretty skinny guy, and this guy seemed like he was a lot smaller than Dax. I'm telling you, this kid's growing every single day. And the thing I was watching him practice beforehand because I know a little bit about wrestling, and he was grabbing guys. He was making moves that were incredible. I mean, he is improving so much. Mm-hmm. He's also the smartest kid in the school. Okay, all my grandkids are really smart. I have no idea how they did it because I was a dummy in school. So I've learned a lot just being a person who tried stuff and didn't give up at times, and it really helped me. And that's if you really want a lesson in life, it's to watch people who don't give up. Watch Donald Trump. Who wouldn't have given up with that kind of pressure? Who wouldn't have? Bush, I'm sure, gave up because of it. obviously, Biden gave up. He did. This isn't a sign of a person who was proud of what he did. This is a sign of a person who can only exist because they are corrupt and threatening to other people. And Trump isn't that. Okay, he's not that. He was a little frustrated during his first term, but I think you're going to see a whole different thing with him.
Well, all the people that say that Trump coming in is the end of democracy, who was the one that was constantly trying to push people and all that? It was Biden.
Yeah.
Trump, even in his first term, opened everything up, and it was amazing to watch how it happened. So I can't wait to see what it's going to do once he starts the second
term. And they
term.
couldn't stand that. They couldn't stand that. How dare this guy break the things that were going on? All these, and what does Biden do? He gets us into war with Russia. And just why? Why are we in? Why? Because he suggested it. The Russians saw weakness after Afghanistan, and they said, you know what? We're going to go back into like we did in 2014 under Barack Obama and Biden, and they stole a country there. I forgot what it was. But all right, well, we have our next guest, I think, is going to be on very shortly because I see things moving along here. Hopefully he can figure out what's going on with the...
Yeah, and I will say that our hope is that we've figured out the issues.
I hope so. We have a workaround. Maybe you can take a time to go back in time. And can you say hello to me?
Hello.
All right. Okay, we got something. There we go. This man is... Huh?
I can tell we're going to have it. Yep. Richard from the Richard, I'm going to be calling you.
Okay. He's going to call you, Richard.
Not available.
We got an echo.
Do I have an echo still?
No, we can't hear him at all.
No, he can't. All right. So anyways, let me introduce you to this guy. Wow, he's getting he is a writer of Donald Trump. He's a poet. He's a man, father. I think on his wife's side wrote a book about and his growing up in a apartment in 1895. And it was produced by Trump's uncle, John Trump. And this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Live in 1991.
I'm trying to call his cell phone and in the call field it will not go through. So call us.
Hey Richard, call us. Can you hear us?
I've been trying to, and it's not going through.
It's not going through?
No.
573-578-2700.
2700. Okay. 573-578-2700.
Right. Okay, so we're doing that.
And it says my call has been forwarded to.
I can't hear. Wait.
It tells me that my call has been forwarded to a message machine. Every time I call.
I hear you now.
Yeah, but we're gonna have an echo.
So? Yeah.
Quality's not great, but.
All right. Well, we'll try this.
JP tried to call me.
Yeah. What happened to the
plan?
plan?
I don't know why the call's not going through. That doesn't make any sense because the phone line's open.
I don't know. Let me try one more time.
No, there's that.
Yeah.
It is?
No, it's being blocked.
Okay, we'll roll with it for now.
It's blocked?
Yep, it's blocked. Oh, anyway, good morning, Dave, Lisa, JP.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
And but the people out there are getting a bad reception. Is that right?
We're hearing all.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. You're going to call him, right?
Yeah, keep saying call Phil. I'm not sure why.
All right.
Yeah, I know. Let's try one more time.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
That's mine, right? My phone.
Yep.
It's on.
Well, let me turn it off.
I got one more idea. I'm going to call Richard. Somehow that saves it. And I'll put my phone on.
Okay. We're doing live.
Woohoo!
Oh God! Now
Okay, here it comes.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hey JP, I got it.
You got it?
I got
Can
it.
you hear?
Yeah, I'm getting an echo, but I hear it.
He's getting an echo. He says. Well, I'm just an echo of myself. Let's see. It's not working. All right. Well, here's the other one. I got to do my code in there. So you know what that is, right? Okay. So anyways, told everybody about your experience as a writer, especially battled Donald Trump. You can hold up when you get a chance, and the fact that you have ties to aliens and to maybe aliens who are inside the earth here.
Well, hey, you're going to like this segment then.
Okay, good. Because so far I'm not crazy about it.
I mean,
all right. So tell me about there's the biggest cave known in Vietnam, biggest cave in the world was discovered. I don't know exactly when, but it was fairly recently. And what they say is that it's like another world with its own growth and human alien beings. What do you know about this?
Oh boy, I hear the echo. Anyway,
I think the aliens are in our phones.
I think they're blocking us.
Yeah.
Now mine just dropped.
All right. Okay, well, let's. Yeah. I mean, this is spooky.
Okay, now what's going through on your? This is odd. I can't figure this out. Okay, I'm just gonna have him talk on the phone.
All right.
I've got you.
Yeah.
Still.
Okay, so
all right.
about.
We still got echo.
Hey, Richard, go ahead. Turn the volume on your computer, like mute it or turn it all the way down, because that's what's interfering with the phone.
All right, I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay, so far I think that may have fixed it.
All right, good. Okay, let's remember this for next time, okay?
All right, we'll
and
do
get
that
this thing
time.
going.
Listen,
yeah.
As for the Vietnam cave, there's not much information about that, but I know that the Vietnamese had a series of tunnels that they used to pop up out of the North Vietnamese, the Kaine.
Right, we know that.
And there's an extensive series of tunnels under Vietnam.
Now these but that's man-made kind of things. We're talking about a cave that has another world in it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I heard you talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this morning I'd like to talk about the underwater UFO base.
All right, let's talk about that.
Where's Point Doom?
Where's it at?
In Malibu, California.
Malibu, Lake Doom.
Okay, it's Point Doom.
Point Doom.
Doom is spelled D-U-M-E.
Okay.
And the UFO base is located offshore in the water about 6 miles off of Malibu, Point Doom.
Wow.
And what makes this topic an extremely timely one is that the base is so close to the recent California wildfires.
Yeah.
Dozens of UFO sightings were reported over and near the wildfires, and you don't hear too much about it. But they seem to be passive observers. In my research, I found that UFO and USO, underwater submerged vehicles, have been reported along Malibu coast for probably 50 years or so.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there any connection between them and Nevada and or New Mexico?
Yes.
Yes, I want to hear about that.
Okay. Well, people have reported seeing UFO crafts that were covered in haze and large spheres that were just floating out by the coast, and large cigar-shaped crafts.
Really?
And I know Dave's ears are perking up right now because
he's
personally seen a cigar.
I just told the story again about that. How big were these tubes?
They were pretty sizable. Like probably the size of a school bus.
Yeah.
Bigger.
And what was like their were they metal? What were they?
I don't know the composition
of
them.
Mine looked like it was completely silver, steel kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
that's the kind of stuff they were seeing out there. And they've also seen like USOs diving into the water and then shooting back up out of the water. So probably by the mid 1960s, whole families were going down to the beach at Point Doom to watch these strange crafts come out of the water.
Really?
Fly around and sink back down under the water.
Okay, so why haven't we heard about this? Who's stopping it?
I think a lot of this information has been, up to now, kind of suppressed by the government.
Yeah.
But things are starting to come out. They didn't know at that time when they were looking at the UFOs that there was a base down there, but the U.S. government did. Now, I should mention that Point Doom is located less than 20 miles from one of our most important naval bases at Point Mugu, M-U-G-U. You've not heard of this either, have you?
No.
Well, that's where we house and base many of our nuclear submarines and store our missiles.
Yeah.
The nukes. And it's no coincidence that the U.S. naval base and the UFO base are so close together.
Okay, so how do you know it's not a coincidence? What do you know?
The main objective of the UFO occupants is to keep humanity from destroying itself, from what I've heard.
So they're like allies?
Yeah. When I spoke with my scientist friends, they told me that Point Doom, the alien base, has been known by our government since the 1950s.
Whoa.
That's after the Roswell crash.
Yeah.
They also said that that we've been in contact with the occupants of the base since about the 70s.
Okay, so where do these guys come from? Do they come from this planet or some other planet?
Well, let me get to that.
All right.
They've actually assisted us in a lot of ongoing time travel projects.
I believe that, yeah.
And they've also been really concerned about the direction that both our society and our government have been headed in.
Who isn't?
So, yeah, exactly. So the UFO base itself is a stadium-shaped structure, like as if you were looking at a football stadium.
Okay.
And it's between 2 to 2.5 miles wide. And actually,
is that the base or is that a ship?
No, it's an actual structure, underwater structure.
So that's where they fly into, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can actually see this base by pulling it up on Google Earth.
Wow.
Yeah. And by the way, there are other UFO bases located all over the planet. In fact, I've heard there's another major UFO base on a place called Guadalupe Island, just south of Los Angeles.
Oh.
And it's a major deal down there. And you haven't heard it?
When Trump buys what is it?
Greenland?
Greenland, are we gonna get because they're gonna have, I'm sure they got a base there right now, I think. And so I wonder if they're going to be up there too.
Yeah. Now this is to address your question.
Yeah.
Who are they?
Yeah, who are they?
Once again, I got to emphasize, and I have in past shows, that the underwater base occupants or the aliens aren't quite like aliens that everyone thinks. They're actually humans from the distant future. They're our descendants.
So they're at time travelers.
Yeah.
From the future.
Okay. Most people I talk with think these beings are aliens because they travel from outer space. But
yeah,
in the future, you got to understand. You got to look at the whole big picture. Mankind is going to leave the Earth to colonize different star systems and things.
Right.
Just like in Star Trek.
Well,
and,
just
and
like
in order to come back to our world,
Elon Musk is he's talking about doing that in just years from now.
Yeah, he is. And in order to come back to our world, they have to travel through both space and time.
Yeah.
So now, while they're out there colonizing, evolution will continue and create multiple variations of human beings. There's a lot of factors that will actually force us to evolve, like gravitational pressures, different oxygen levels, thicker or thinner atmospheres.
But how many years are there going to be in this? When are we going to have to do this? Is this going to be another, 1,000,000 years from now, 1,000,000,000 years from now?
Well, I think in order to get the kind of evolutionary changes that we're seeing in these aliens, it's going to be, I would say, up to 1,000,000 years. Yeah.
Okay.
And our descendants come back to Earth and they find it very difficult to live on. So, there's a case to be made both for and against the term alien.
Yeah.
They are they are alien, and yet we're connected.
Yeah. So what you're saying is these people don't come from other planets. They come from this planet only, and they are resurfacing, so to speak, via time travel to sort of help us out.
Yes,
so
they are. Yes,
so
they
where
are.
does the stories come about space aliens from other planets or other systems?
Well, and once again, I must say, if you're looking for space aliens, don't look for humanoids. See, these aliens are actually in humanoid form. They have a head.
What is that?
They have arms.
Yeah, what is humanoid form?
Okay. The connection between us and primates on this planet.
Right.
You can see there's a connection, right?
It seems that way, yeah.
A chimpanzee and a man.
Yeah.
Well, it's that same thing. There's that same connection between a human being and what we perceive as aliens.
Okay.
So you could look at them and say, yeah, this is definitely part of
So can you tell me what the differences are? I mean, have you ever seen one? I think you've said you've seen the dead one.
My father's cousin,
yeah,
did see one, but he wasn't alive at the time. It was encased in ice.
Okay.
And and then they did autopsies on him later.
Yeah.
The skin is totally different.
Where was this at?
This is as a result of the crash at Roswell.
Why was he in ice then? That's not an area that gets very cold, is it?
Well,
did they ice him in?
That's the only way they had to preserve dead
Okay,
bodies.
they preserved him. All right. Huh.
So and so if you want to find out more about that particular thing,
yeah,
I recommend reading The Day After Roswell, by Colonel Philip Corso.
And that's your relative, right?
Yeah, that's my relative.
Yeah. Okay,
it's
so
unbelievable how I've been kind of tossed into this kind of unworldly information. It's just
right,
kind of
you got relatives that know about this stuff and have experience with it, and are with some with government agencies where they're bound to be silenced by that.
Right.
But again, once again, these are humanoids, right? They're human. So that particular species of human came from the future of other humans. Maybe who knows how, 1 million years ago, maybe. Has there yet been an identification of any aliens from other planets, from other universal?
There's a man by the name of Whitley Strieber.
Yeah.
Who's written a few books about creatures from other dimensions.
Yeah.
And
that's dimensions.
They do not look anything like us.
Okay, so this, you think, comes from other systems out there, other planets, other solar systems.
There are other non-humanoid intelligent life forms.
Do we know all of the systems in the universe? Is it ever been finited to the extent that we know that, okay, there's the end of it, and what comes after the end of it? The universe.
That I don't know.
How come we don't know that?
Well, I'll tell you what is actually being discussed right now in the scientific community.
Yeah.
Is that we are actually living in a simulation.
Living in a simulation, huh?
I said, have you ever heard of Sims? The kids play it. It's a game on the computer.
Not really. No.
But it's similar to that.
Yeah.
Only on a grander scale. But if we are indeed, and Scientific American actually put out an entire issue to address this, the Scientific American magazine.
Yeah.
If we are living in a simulation, then without a doubt, there's a creator. Without a doubt.
Okay, without a doubt, that means there's God.
Yes, indeed.
And that God created the universe and everything else.
Yes, indeed.
And we know so little, actually. You think, I know a lot.
Have you ever looked into the Bible and where it says God created man? He said, let us create man in our own image.
Yeah. In his image. Wait a minute. In his image. Who was he talking to? I just talked about this with the rabbi. I says, he's written a book about how God wrote. He invented the Hebrew language, and I says, well, when he was addressing Adam and Eve, how did they know about the Hebrew language? And he was a little vague on it, but I guess he said they made them understand.
Well,
And
it was programmed,
and he had no belly button, because that was he was a creation,
right?
and the belly button became the connection between him and a mother.
He didn't need to come out of woman. No.
That's right. So I've had this conversation already this morning. Okay.
Look at that. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, but so you're saying it proves that there is a God and that he's involved in this.
Oh yeah.
And
my father-in-law, before I told you, my father-in-law was a doctor of mathematics at one of the national labs.
Yeah.
And when he found out about this, he said, "You know what, Richard, I can't be an atheist." And I go, "Well, why, Dad?" And he goes, "If we are living in a simulation, there is a creator." And he goes,
wow.
all this atheism is BS. And so, the more people learn about science and quantum mechanics and simulation theory, the closer they come to understanding who God is.
It's interesting. And is your whole family, are they Catholic Christians?
They are.
Now, were they always that way, or were some of them agnostic and or non-believers until they suddenly realized there was a God?
My wife's family was Lutheran, but her father was definitely a non-believer.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's so interesting to find this stuff out, and that's why I like you. But you know what?
Well, I like you too. And I sent something that was very interesting.
What's that?
Take a look at the Space Force logo.
Yeah.
I sent this to Lisa as well.
Yeah, I think I did see it.
And it looks exactly like the Star Trek logo.
Yeah. So there was something there too, right?
Yeah, there is something there.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, I think there is even something with Star Wars. I think that he pulled into something larger. And we'll see it as it goes on. But I believe that there could be a federation of humanoid species across the galaxy.
So do we all live after we die?
Well, if we're it's a good question. If we're in a simulation, then that means we're information. Does information ever die?
No, not really.
I don't think so.
But it gets passed from one generation.
It gets collected.
Yeah.
I believe that whoever is in charge, God, if you will, is keeping all the information. And here's a unsettling thought. If we are a simulation, when we were turned on, that was the Big Bang. But there is a possibility that we could be turned off as well. And it talks about the end of days in the Bible.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's when the simulation actually gets turned off again.
Well, that's the Bible does talk about the end of days, but it talks about a future after that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. There's a limitation to what we know right now. But anyway, hey, that was It was pretty deep there.
That was real deep. All right, listen, my friend, I gotta go, and we'll do this again. Let's see if we can't straighten out the communication level. I don't know if that's my phone or your fault or whatever, but we'll keep working on it. Maybe somebody up there doesn't want us to speak to each other.
You know, it's a possibility.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Okay, so I would say I'm going to ask the question anyways. Where can people find you and buy your book?
Yes, there's the book. I have a Facebook page, Richard C. Lockwood.
Yeah.
You can be there at any time.
All right. So one more question. If you sign up to be an organ donor, make sure you stay well tuned. Some advice.
Oh, thank you.
Anytime. I'm full of it. No, wait a minute. Yeah, wait. I am full of it, aren't I? All right. All right, my friend.
I got to tell you, I've got a sign.
Yeah, what is it?
It's for our music director. At our church.
Yeah.
The sign says, music director only. All others will be organ donors.
Are you accusing me of stealing his joke? I have never been to your parish, sir. All right, thank you so much. Have a great have a great weekend, my friend. All right, take care. All right, well, that turned out to be a little bit of fun right there, wasn't it? This is deep stuff. I mean, we think here we're sitting here and we're all, we're it. This is it. This is the most amazing thing we'll ever see is that, what we're here seeing right now. And there's so much out there. There's so much we don't know. What do you think, honey?
I agree.
Yeah. I
think it's interesting to bring the metaphysical components in and mix it up with everything that we know.
So you're religious, and especially now because, you're I
have faith. I'm
a minister.
I'm religious.
Well, you study it. Every morning you read the Bible. You watch what's her name?
Joyce Meyer.
Mm-hmm. And so you must have some concept of what is and what isn't, and yet there's even more that we don't know.
Okay.
And that's where I'm coming from. I'm not an expert at any of this stuff, but I like to ask. I think I'm good at asking questions about it and the deepness of what they're telling me. I mean, there's no definition to the whole universe.
Right.
Well, why not? How can it
was
be
created?
Well, okay, but somewhere it's got to have all sorts of different things in it. Is it blank for millions and millions of miles or billions and billions of miles?
I don't know.
Do we have this thing happening all over the universe?
Are you real or are you a simulation?
Well, I tried to fool you when I'm a simulation. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm here. All right. I'm a simulation. What can I tell you? All right. I tried to get into the 6'5" area so I could go play basketball and things like that. But no. They were short of, they were short of large people. They only had short people. So here I am. What can I tell you? All right. I'm happy with it, though.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, in a couple of minutes, I hope we're going to get Bill Hardwick in. Let's play another couple of clips. Hold on here. I want to see where I'm at because I want to play some for him, too. Let's do 6 and 7.
Let's be honest. It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go.
Someone fetch that guy a 12-pack of tampons. That's a Trump effect, but not a healthy one. Here's Trump on meetings with Democrats.
A lot of CEOs, including some who censored you 4 years ago, have been coming down here basically to kiss the ring. Did they change or did you change?
Well, maybe we all changed. I think they've gained a lot of respect. I think they looked at the mandate that we got. As you know, we won the popular vote.
This is a good answer, for it suggests a middle ground, even if he didn't have to give an inch. It gives Dems a path forward out of the darkness. We all changed. Funny, Trump may turn out to be the greatest ally for the Democratic Party, but not for the reason the media thinks. Trump is their Moses, and that he's parting the sea so Dems can flee their extremism and seek sanctuary in common sense. Just when you thought he couldn't do any more for the Jews, now this. The Trump effect gives you the green light to talk in real terms about real problems. So now Dems no longer have to embrace stupid causes. They can talk about illegal immigration, rising crime, schools. Stephen A. Smith, Bill Maher, Fetterman, they all seem freer. Hell, Fetterman looks positively radiant. Like Frankenstein if they put in the good brain. And why? Trump made it okay not to give a about pronouns and focus on the economy, law and order, and yes, fires. When a fireman is coming up that ladder and it doesn't look like you, who gives a Yeah, I want mine to look like Ryan Gosling, but it's not happening.
Yeah. All right. We're on. And welcome Bill Hardwick. He's a platoon leader, was a platoon leader in Iraq, National Guard, still in the National Guard. He's a Missouri representative, a philosopher, a comedian. He laughs at his own humor.
Somebody's got to.
And college professor.
Yeah.
You can laugh at that too, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
all right. Well, and you know, he's a smart guy, I can tell. And I want to do this first. I want to play 15, 16, and 17 because those are for the hearing for Hegseth.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and
Great.
I know you're all over that, like white on rice.
I'm very interested
right?
in what happens with the
all right,
Department
well,
of Defense.
let's, I know you are. So let's do 15, 16, and 17.
The Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength. And in pursuing these America First national security goals will remain patriotically apolitical and stridently constitutional. Unlike the current administration, politics should play no part in military matters. We are not Republicans. We are not Democrats. We are American warriors. Our standards will be high and they will be equal, not equitable. That's a very different word. We need to make sure every warrior is fully qualified on their assigned weapon system, every pilot's fully qualified and current on the aircraft they are flying, and every general or flag officer is selected for leadership or promotion purely based on performance, readiness, and merit. I joined the military because I love my country and felt an obligation to defend it. I served with incredible Americans in Guantanamo Bay, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and on the streets of Washington, D.C., many of which are with me here today. This includes enlisted soldiers I helped become American citizens, and Muslim allies I helped immigrate from Iraq and Afghanistan. Because when I took off the uniform, my mission never stopped. Now, it is true and has been acknowledged that I don't have a similar biography to defense secretaries of the last 30 years. But as President Trump also told me, we've repeatedly placed people atop the Pentagon with supposedly the right credentials, whether they are retired generals, academics, or defense contractor executives. And where has it gotten us? My only special interest is the warfighter, deterring wars and, if called upon, winning wars by ensuring our warriors never enter a fair fight. We let them win and we bring them home. Like many of my generation, I've been there. I've led troops in combat. I've been on patrol for days. I've pulled a trigger down range, heard bullets whiz by, flex-cuffed insurgents, called in close air support, led medevacs, dodged IEDs, pulled out dead bodies, and knelt before a battlefield cross. This is not academic for me. This is my life. I led then, and I will lead now. Ask anyone who's ever worked for me or with me. I know what I don't know.
Well, does this sound familiar to you in terms of what you know?
Sounds like he's going to be a pretty good Secretary of Defense to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot there I really agree with that I want to delve into. The warfighter, his special interest being the warfighter. Finally, after 4 years of playing politics with soldiers, with enforcing mandates on them, with DEI, with woke politics, with social leftism, with whatever left-wing kind of inculcation they're shoving down soldiers' pikes. You have somebody who's like, my priority is the soldier. My priority is our country's defense. And I also love that we'll never go into a fair fight.
That's right.
If you're a good tactical leader, if you're a good tactical commander, you never want a fair fight.
Right.
You always want to give your soldiers the most possible advantage for victory and decisive victory as you can.
And as a matter of fact, in life, you don't want a fair fight either.
No, you don't want a fair fight.
Right.
There's no such thing as a fair fight. There's victory.
Yeah.
And our military needs to achieve victory when there's combat. Just like in the Gulf War, I've been thinking about that a lot too. That was a good example of when overwhelming force, clearly defined end state, exit strategy. Sounds like we're going to return to some of those things. And I like what he said too. We had Robert McNamara in the 60s, who was a CEO of a company. We had Esper, who was defense contractor, and in that society, that cultural defense society, we had these other DOD secretaries, defense leaders, and they all came from the same school of thought to think a certain way. And they all thought they were a lot smarter than the American people and what the objectives the people wanted the president to achieve. And look what that gave us. That gave us the Afghanistan debacle withdrawal.
Yeah.
That gave us an incoherent strategy in Vietnam. And so I like what we're doing now. Hey, if it's not in America's national interest, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
And if it's not a war that we're going to win, we're not going to fight it. But guess what? We're going to be prepared to win and fight every single battle that comes our way. I think it's exactly what the Department of Defense should be doing.
My mom's in the ER. I'm going to go.
Oh, she is?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
We'll see you later, Lisa. I hope she's okay.
Yeah, me too. All right. So going back to this, I don't understand. This is the Department of Defense.
Yeah.
This you would think would be led by competent soldiers who have battled, like yourself. And where did Austin and Milley come from, for goodness sakes?
I think that, and I don't want to detract from, they have service to the country too, but I think what happens is you keep getting promoted, and the reasons that you get promoted for become less and less about your abilities and more about the guy who's above you likes you. And when you get to the general officer level, it's very, very political. It's very much like, this is our guy. He was good for us when he was our subordinate.
He supported us all the time.
Right. He kind of said, yes, that's a great idea,
yes,
sir.
Guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that really is what you get. I mean, I'm not saying anything that a senior leader wouldn't agree with. Everybody knows this. When you're the junior enlisted, the enlisted guys, they have promotion schedules based on how fast they run, how well they shoot, whether or not they have college credit. So you're getting promoted to sergeant on stuff based like that, right? Your performance, you're good at first aid, you're good at your MOS. But then when you get really high up in the military, all those performance metrics go away. So now we're talking about, does somebody fit into the culture of leadership right then and there? And you're really not rewarded. And there's an interesting study I want to kind of mention too. You're not rewarded for thinking outside the box. The people who get rewarded in hierarchical systems, this is the Peter principle too, following the standard deviation, right? They fit in with the culture. They're not shaking the boat. So they get promoted, right, because they fit in. People who are real incompetent and dumb, they get cut out real fast. But the people who are really, really, really smart and outside the box thinkers, they have to act like they're not smart to get promoted, basically. So, there are a lot of studies in the military like that. But I think that what I just finished, I'm not done reading yet, H.R. McMaster's book, At War with Ourselves. It's his memoirs of being Trump's national security advisor.
Who's this?
McMaster. So McMaster and Trump have disagreement.
Yeah.
He doesn't say Trump was a bad president. He both praises him and criticizes him. But he does really describe how there's this whole DOD apparatus that's trying to undermine him constantly. Yeah. And Trump will get elected and say, the American people wanted me to do this. Yeah. And the State Department and Defense Department will slow roll it and try to undermine him. And then no matter what he does, the media will report something opposite of what's happening. McMaster would describe that in detail. Something would happen. The media would say, this is what Trump did. And McMaster would say, that's not what happened at all. They were just lying. So it's very frustrating for him.
Did this happen under other presidents too? This kind of treatment? Or was Trump kind of special?
Well, you could argue that it happened to Kennedy. You could argue that to some degree. You could argue that it happened to Nixon.
Yeah.
Because if you think about how the Watergate scandal broke, it was a deputy director of the FBI who leaked that to the Washington Post.
Yeah.
So the FBI kind of took down Richard Nixon. So you could argue it happened to Nixon. I don't think that you could argue that there's some degree with Reagan, with like his first cabinet folks, and then he replaces it with I forget the guy's name, George, the Tiger Man, replaces State Department with him, and he has a more coherent foreign policy. He gets in people like Caspar Weinberger and Brent Scowcroft, and they're more they get better processes for national security. It seems like George Bush after 9/11, everybody kind of rallied around him. But then you have what Eisenhower warned about, is you have an alignment of our national policy interest, our industrial interest, the defense contractor interest.
Sure.
So I don't think Bush dealt with that much in his first term. But when Trump got elected, a lot of the media and kind of our culture said illegitimate president,
totally
Russia collusion. So they never treated him like he was president. So everything he did, I think this started the rift that even led us to 2024. So we in Missouri, this is me, for example, I'll tell you from my point of view, I can't speak for other people. Donald Trump came on the scene. I thought, wow, this is like, he's something different.
Yeah.
But he's funny. I like him. And he's saying stuff every time he would talk about trade, about the border, about how we need to have America first strategy. Let's just wipe ISIS out, but let's not be in wars forever.
Yeah.
I was like, he makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the more the media attacked him and said, he said this thing and kind of twisted his words, the more I thought those guys have to be defeated because they just want to pick the leaders.
And immediately they were lying.
And they were lying. And I was like,
how did you know?
Because here's how you know the media is lying. If you actually know about the story,
if they're talking.
if you know about the story.
Yeah.
So if you watch the Donald Trump speech, see, that's why it became more forefront for everybody. You'd watch the Donald Trump speech and then you saw the Nita story.
Right.
And you go, that's not what happened.
And listen closely to
it.
Yeah.
Well, that happened on January 6th. I watched that full speech he gave.
Yeah.
I heard every word he said. And then next thing you know, in the media, they clipped it and they said, oh, he said this. And I said, he didn't say that at all.
Well, of course. And that was so obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who are like, okay, this is it. I wanted to vote for him, but they voted for him and they liked what he was saying about, and I liked what he was saying policy wise.
Yeah.
And I liked that it was like a defeat of Hollywood and Washington, D.C. and the media too. I like both those things. So I voted for him. He comes into office and he says, I'm going to implement these policies. I'm going to build a border wall. And we sit there and watch everybody in D.C.
go crazy,
do everything they can to stop him.
Go crazy,
throw everything at him.
What a racist pig you are!
So we get madder.
Oh my
and
God!
Then 2020, which a lot of us think that was stolen. A lot of us think
I think it's proven by now.
I'd say,
come on.
Okay, I know. Yeah, that's what I would say. I think I'm trying
what even Democrats really think that was legit.
Well, it's not legit on a lot of levels. One is the ballot triplicate due to count in Georgia, the pipe bursting. We can go into all that. The mail-in
81 million votes for a guy who's in his basement and can't draw a crowd more than 10 people.
Yeah,
and he gets 81 million votes versus our first black president, Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah,
come on.
It defies reason. But then here's another thing happened. We all were like, at the 2020 election, we were like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then the media said, you guys are all nuts.
Yeah. No. You guys are all criminal.
You guys, and
because you believe that he won, you guys are liars.
Do you remember during that time, lawyers who would speak up or take those cases? They had bar complaints against their law licenses.
Exactly.
So we don't remember how rough time that was. And then Donald Trump gets indicted out the wazoo.
I didn't even mention this.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer too. How can I forget that?
No. If you wouldn't mention it, I would appreciate
it. Don't worry, you're going to be okay now. Okay.
He gets indicted like crazy. They're keeping him off this. They're saying we have to save democracy. We have to keep him off the ballot in several states. They try to kill him. At this point, we're kind of like, there's nothing you could do to stop me. I'm going to vote for him. But then he runs a great campaign. He's got Joe Rogan. He builds this great coalition. RFK comes over, and Kamala Harris.
He serves French. He goes to McDonald's.
He goes to McDonald's. That was great.
He goes to McDonald's.
He does the
and that's where he brings people. And I mean, McDonald's.
So we had a rally, a get out the vote rally, the weekend before.
McDonald's just got rid of DEI.
Yeah. So did Facebook.
Yeah.
So did a bunch of companies. Yeah.
Yeah. My son's telling me, no, they didn't. I says, what do you mean they didn't? He says, I know they didn't. You made a mistake. I says, I think it was by Breitbart or somebody that said this. So he gives me the McDonald's explanation of it, and they're talking about a bunch of BS. Yeah, we're going to have people that work, and we're going to have similar to, and then all of a sudden at the end it says, and we're going to drop the DEI. But they tried to cloak it into something that they weren't doing.
Oh yeah,
they were embarrassed somehow by having to do this.
The best point I heard made about it is, why would you fight racism with more racism?
Exactly.
The best way to fight racism is say, we don't care about your skin color. Just care about what job you do. That's it.
So
they have the college football playoff going on, and Notre Dame is getting ready to play in the championship game on Monday. And of course, their head coach is black coach, and they made the case. You're the first black coach ever to be you could actually be the first black coach to win the national championship. And he said, I'm a coach.
Bingo.
Right.
I'm a coach, period. That shouldn't even be up for discussion.
He's a great coach. Yep. Didn't he lose his first game of the year or something like that?
They came back from a lot, and now he's
now
he actually has NFL teams want to talk to him because of how he's turned Notre Dame around. So
I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a great coach. Anyways, I want to. Is this sort of like Reagan? Because he was an individual from California, of all places, an actor.
Yeah.
And there is my first wife's grandmother used to say he was just a bad actor. Okay, that's all he was. And she was like a big Democrat. She invented the town of there's a town in Florida called something like Planet something, I don't know, Planet Liberal, probably, for all I know. And so, but Reagan, he was kind of a similar outside the box thinker.
Yeah.
Who came up with what the Israelis now use to protect them.
Right.
And that we were turned down by from who?
Jimmy Carter.
Joe Biden.
Oh yeah,
Joe Biden killed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
he's always been an idiot. Anyways, but did you see any similarities between Reagan and?
I do.
And I mean, he went out and got the hostages out of Iran.
They're different, but I see similarities. Okay. So besides the "Make America Great" slogan,
yeah.
So I'll tell you, I heard compare and contrast Trump and Reagan. Both of them not favored by the establishment. Both of them, the media didn't want them there.
Right.
Both of them had an ability to go around the media and the traditional apparatus and speak direct and make a connection directly with voters. Well, and why is that? I think there's a couple reasons. One is they reflected what the people wanted.
Yep.
They knew who the people were. They had good instincts for politics, and that could come from acting or show business or
I think so.
or dealing with people.
I think there's a lot to do with that.
But it's kind of self-awareness. Like, I know how people are going to feel about this.
Yeah.
So they went straight to people. They projected strength at a time when America needed strength the most.
Yeah.
At the end of the Carter administration, you talked about the Iran hostage crisis. At the end of the Obama era, our country was culturally, internationally, economically, in terms of crime and safety. It was there was the kind of a malaise, maybe a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
And those guys projected strength, and they made you feel proud to be an American again, and said that, and he said, I'm going to help you, you in your life. And they both had these, like, in the different ways.
Who are you talking about now? Obama?
No, Reagan and Trump.
Oh, okay.
Both of those guys.
All right.
So I think at the end of Carter and the end of Obama, people were dilapidated.
Because Obama was the antithesis of this because he was anti-American.
Yeah, no,
Let's face it. He was pro-Islam.
They called him
anti-American.
Yeah, all right. America was bad. America was a force for evil. America had to be taken down a notch.
Yeah.
when they say the forgotten man during the Trump era, they say the marginalized people, like the people who work with their hands, people
Yeah.
that have working jobs.
The garbage truck.
They called them Reagan Democrats back in Reagan's day.
Yeah.
They meant union workers, people that had lower income jobs, but they saw Reagan and they were like, I like that. And they voted for him. And Trump has the exact same thing in the realignment.
Yeah.
He
goes out and gets a garbage truck, and the garbage truck is going to be at the inauguration, I hear. Okay. This is amazing. He is this. Out of all these guys that you mentioned, he is by far the best. As I called him in my monologue tonight, how are you going to beat Moses? He's got God. He's ordained by God.
Well, then there's that.
Okay.
A lot of people think, so that's why I'm hedging language. A lot of people think that God is still at work in America. And I like to think that too, that, it's not over yet. So.
Well, it's not over yet, and he's got a lot of threats against him. And Biden has definitely put this on a watch for assassination based on what he said the last couple of days. Oligarchs, and what is he talking about? He just gave Soros, the biggest oligarch of them all, and his son some awards.
Yeah,
and he's taken millions and millions of dollars from billionaires, and he's a multimillionaire now because of what? Because his son went and got this money for his family.
Yeah,
and he's the big guy.
Yeah, we heard about the presidential medical freedom for George Soros of the Capitol, and I heard one rep say, "I thought this was a Babylon Bee article when I first saw it. I didn't realize it was serious."
Yeah,
but it's serious. I mean, yeah, that's right. And I think that a lot of us are worried about what they're going to try to do to Trump now, because it is a big deal. I mean, he's going to release a lot of stuff next week. He's going to pardon some J6ers. I mean, come Monday night, we're going to have a different America.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to it. But I know
I got Jeff Zink coming on next.
Yeah,
if you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to. If you don't have anything to do, I know you got plenty to do.
I do got to go. I got to keep going. I got not like Steve Martin where I got nowhere to go, but I'll go. I got to go this time.
Yeah, it's fun.
You know that Johnny Carson.
I know. He'd walk out. He'd walk. See ya, and then all of a sudden he peeks in the curtain, pulls it back a little, and Johnny says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I've got nowhere else to go."
I think about that every time you
take me back. It's so fun. That was so damn funny. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, Steve Martin, Johnny Carson was funny people.
Richard Lockwood. This is a very interesting guy. Thank you, Dave. I enjoyed being on your show, Richard. You're welcome, Richard. And Shannon Reed, thank you for your service. Bill Hardwick, and guess who's on? Oh gosh, he's already on. Look at this. You want to hang out for this at least?
I'll give you 5 minutes and I'll exit stage left.
All right. Why don't we introduce him, and we'll get. I got so much I want to ask you though. Damn it. All right. Anyways, my next guest, this went very fast, by the way, faster than I wanted to. I just want to cover one more thing with you.
Yeah.
What was the funniest part of the interviews from the Senate to Hegseth?
And what do you think? I don't know.
I think when Warren kept calling it a general, and would general do this, general, and he says,
"Right,
Senator, I'm not a general," and everybody cracked up. And
Right.
She sat there stone-faced, not knowing what to say.
And we don't want a general. We want somebody who's going to meet the commander-in-chief's intent. Yeah.
That's the point. We don't want what we had before. We don't want what we had. I mean, these
we want
guys
civilian control of our military. Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, this gentleman who is now looking at me, he is a kinesiologist, a forensic. He knows forensic audits of elections, Division I football player, and Division I referee in basketball. And he's got news today about 1-6 and maybe a guy with the initials of RFK. Please welcome, all the way from Phoenix, our friend Jeff Zink. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. What's this with you and Senator, what's his name, being on your website?
Oh,
The senator.
You got a picture of Josh Hawley with you on your Facebook profile. So we saw that yesterday.
Yes. So Josh Hawley came down to Phoenix, and we were sitting there talking, and some people came up and took my picture and everything. And so I thought it was so appropriate that since I'm coming on Dave's show to have Josh Hawley and my wife and I on a picture.
Well, that's great. What if Bill Hardwick showed up?
I'd get a picture with him as well.
All right. Well,
I get a picture with you, Jeff.
All right. So what's new? How's Ryan doing?
Ryan's done good. It's really funny how the DOJ and Judge Boasberg are still up to their old tricks. They're still treating him as if he's a felon. They have refused him. He just got a job in the oil field, and they denied that he could accept that position. And so talk about overreach.
So does he have the job or not?
He has the job, yes. But Judge Boasberg ruled that he could not accept that because he would have to travel, and he has to stay within the county, and that takes him outside the county and stuff. So, I just look at it as 4 more days. Or 3 more days, actually, because today's 17th. So on the 20th at noon, President Trump takes the office.
Yes.
At 12:30, he is to sign the executive order that will cause clemency for all of the J6ers.
Good.
And then, which means that they have to be released from prison after Pam Bondi then takes that executive order and then executes it. So it has to come from Pam Bondi.
Well, she's not approved yet. When are they going to get approved? These people.
Well, I would say that by then Pam Bondi will be approved. They're going to be taking a vote because Trump is putting a lot of pressure on the Senate, and that's one of the things that being on the inside now and understanding what's happening, I have a lot more clarity, and this is an area that has been given to the J6ers. So I'm not saying anything that would be privileged or anything else. So
I have to ask you this question now because do artificial red number 3 in foods is that going to be eliminated?
Yes, in fact, we've that and yellow dye number 6, which are known carcinogens. We're going to replace that with beets. If you want a red tint, we can use beets, which is more healthier. We can use turmeric if you want a yellow color. And so, the thing is that the beets are an antioxidant, and then the turmeric is an anti-inflammatory. So it's one of these that's,
well, here I've got sugar-free Ludens, and that's got to be the red thing. I think it's red. So if I eat this, am I subject to like having a problem? Look at it; it's red. It has to be the red thing, right?
Well, and these are things that we're going to be addressing. The thing is that I'm not as radical as RFK. I don't want to take all the snacks off because I don't want a revolt in America, because if we took all their snacks, that's worse than
cough drops. I need these to do this show.
Yeah.
I'm choking here. Yeah. Watch.
That's it.
Oh my
Just
God.
don't choke on it.
There you go.
So
anyways, so you're going to be sitting there. Now, you haven't been approved yet, right?
Officially, as of last night, I met with Trump's transition team, and I am the official nominee for the Assistant Secretary of Health.
All right. Yay! Give him some applause, for God's sake. Yeah! That's a huge victory, because you're going to be sitting there getting questions like this instead of being in as one representative out of what, 450 or so.
Correct.
You're going to
535.
535. I don't know what happened to those other ones, but no. 535.
Well, those are Democrats that don't know anything.
But you're going to be questioned by both sides, and you're going to be slapped around a bit, and you're going to be able to fight back and tell them what is and isn't, aren't you?
Absolutely. There's going to be some questions that they're going to want to stay away from. There is a reason why I'm one of the foremost leading authorities in forensic audits across the nation. What they've done. If they ask me that question of, do you have evidence of widespread voter fraud? I will be able to list a number of, in fact, I'll have to limit it because in my answer that I would state is the top three out of the 300 points of information that I have. So, I can give them three very, very quick. Where dead voters have voted, where people that have moved out of the state, sex offenders have all been voting, and all of these have been without their knowledge, and we have proven that. So that's either malfeasance, it's maladministration, or it's a misappropriation of the ballots themselves.
Okay, so you expect to get some questions like that, or this is going to be Republicans who are? You're not going to be asked that by Democrats, are you?
More than likely, because they want to paint me as this left-wing lunatic a right-wing lunatic that believes that
they would have not have done their homework had they known what it is you know.
Well, and the thing is that Elizabeth Warren made the statement that by making the mistake that calling Pete Hegseth a general, and that backfired. So they're not the most brightest people in the world.
I know. I just told that one to Bill Hardwick.
Oh, did you? So
I said, what was the funniest part of the examination? And I told him, the warden keep on telling him, as a general, blah, 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 you're going to go work for, military manufacturer. And she kept asking, pushing him. Finally, he says, Senator Warden, I am not a general. And I got a big laugh.
Oh, yeah. Well, and a lot of people in Pam Bondi's, because Adam Schiff was talking over her, missed a very critical statement that she put out there, which was she couldn't address specifics with the J6ers because it's an ongoing investigation, and a lot of people miss that.
He didn't miss it. He toned down a bit. He toned down a bit after that, didn't he?
He most certainly did, because then he realized that he's part of that J6 original J6 committee that was a shamble, and it was nothing but a sheer propaganda and stuff. And we're going to be going after that as well. So the thing is that we need to sit down and be patient. I'm not going to the inauguration. I'm actually going to be in Safford at the prison on the 20th, so that when President Trump signs the executive order and Pam Bondi issues that, I've got two prisoners, J6 prisoners, that I'm personally going to pick up and bring to Phoenix. And one to bring to his family, and the other one is I'm going to put on an airplane and send him home to Seattle. So we're working and trying to capture every J6er that's going to be released.
So when you get officially anointed, as you might say, that's preacher talk, I know, but are you going to have any meetings with Trump? Are you going to be now? You said you went before some lawyers that were Trump lawyers, and you were going to talk for about a half an hour. You ended up talking for hours. So they have picked your brain, sort of like I've done over the years, and know that you got a lot of knowledge other than being a kinesiologist, right?
Well, and what's really interesting is that my staff, because they already knew that President Trump was looking at me. They didn't tip me off at that point. But since then, being the Assistant Secretary of Health, which, by the way, I'm going to be replacing Admiral Rachel Levine. That's the position I'm going after.
Oh no!
So
no, you can't do that. Come on.
You have the epitome of LGBTQ transgender person to, as my wife considers me as the male.
I read number 3 thing there. I said, oh my God, that's your replace. So you're going to spend some time with him?
No, not really. They're probably going to pack their stuff and and take their toys and go home. They're not, and I hope they take their toys. I don't want to see them. So
you're moving to DC?
That we're already looking at a place to stay there in DC, and so it's going to be it's going to be a big transition. I still have
is getting a place right next to the Oval Office. You're not going to be in the White House.
No, my office is at HHS, so it's going to be a little ways away, but not too far. I mean, I can always walk there. You want to walk around.
I got to get out there and see this. So
yeah,
I'll try to get out there. Will DC be safe for me to come?
Absolutely. We're going to make it safe again. We have Pam Bondi. We're going to have Kash Patel. They're going to be there. Our FBI is no longer going to be in Washington, D.C. My understanding is that all 7,000 FBI agents are going to be sent out across the United States, and they're going to be solving crimes.
Good. Oh, man. Now, Christopher Wray has resigned. So
Christopher Wray, Merrick, Garland has all resigned. They're all leaving, and that's just part of it.
Are they leaving the country? That's my question. Because they're
that's okay. We can find them. I think we have something called a Delta team and a SEAL team. We can go find them.
Okay. All right. So how is this thing going to work? You've got Trump has these great savings in taxes, and they're about to be expired. How's he going to get that and go after the illegal immigrants that are supposed to go back to the country they're from?
Well, a lot of it's going to depend on how much money does the Biden administration want to leave us in our coffers. I mean, that's fine. I mean, they're sending money to everybody except America.
Yeah, I know.
So, but
and the LA fire is going to get like 100% of the damages back. I wonder what they're going to do with that. Do you have any ideas?
Well, one of the things is that going back to Bernie Sanders' point when he was talking with the economic that's going to be for the and I'm drawing a blank on the secretary position of economics, I think. When he was talking to him, he was like, I feel that there's an oligarchy that's taking place, that a few handful of people there. And then when he said, well, President Biden had put two Medal of Freedom on two that you would be in that circle. And he's like, well, I'm not making it individual. Well, you just did. You just said that it was individual with these. And the thing is that there's always going to be
numbered them and named them.
Correct. And that's the thing. You're always going to have people that are multi-billionaires and millionaires and stuff, because they're the ones that actually own things that employ people. And you're also going to have the poor and the needy. And so that's one of the reasons why God tells us that we are to save up, and then out of our abundance, we are to help our fellow man. And we need to get back to that. We need to take, more charge of our synagogues and our churches. And, if everybody would give, 10% of what they made every year to the church, then the churches could do far much more, because now you're working with your fellow people that are beside you and helping them. And that's much more than what the federal government can. So it's going to be very important that we get back to our basics of going to our synagogues, going to our churches, and believing in God and making sure that we take care of the fellow man.
And by the way, I did not say that you are also a ordained pastor, correct?
Yes.
So,
yeah,
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they utilize you for things, not just, I mean, you got to do your job, obviously, but there's other things that you're qualified to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if that you weren't actually becoming an advisor to more than JFK or RFK. So,
well, one of the things that we're going to need to do is we need to sit down. We have if I get some of the Democrats and stuff, and I don't want to give off all my tips here, because I know that the Democrats are going to start watching everything that I have out there, and they're definitely going to start coming at these ones that are very, very close. So I don't want to tip my hand of some things that I'm going to say, but we're going to say that I have enough information about a lot of things that we need to focus on the health and human services. And part of that's going to be, sex trafficking. It's going to be taking care of our children. It's going to be stopping the mutilation and degradation of our children and stuff. And so these are
part of the border problem too. You're gonna try to help fix the children. There's 300,000 children out there with nobody can account for them right now.
Exactly. And they come into this world and there's no way that they are with their parents, because the person that's taking care of them don't act like a parent, don't protect those children. And so these are things that we need to be looking for. But one of the things that I'm also, I met with a whole bunch of pastors with the Mordecai Project, and they are the pastors that are directly with President Trump. And what I've asked them, and I need to call, and I'll have to talk to Pastor Pat after we get done with this. But one of the things that I'm requesting is that we have a bunch of pastors that come in, and they're going to pray and anoint my office and the building, and we've got to take this back over, because I don't care what anybody says. And this is a direct quote that they're going to be able to take off of this show right here, which is that we have had mental illness in leadership that has allowed people to be and move forward an agenda that is extremely harmful to the mental health and well-being of our children, young adults, and stuff. I don't care what you identify as an adult, but leave the children alone and stop using the LGBTQ agenda in elementary, junior high, and high school. Leave our kids alone and stuff. And so I'm not going to be negotiable in regards to that. I'm not going to be apologetic or anything else. And when they come after that, then I'm going to ask them the direct question, which is, do you think that it's okay for children that cannot vote, cannot smoke, cannot drink, and cannot serve our country, yet you think that it's okay for them to mutilate and sterilize their body when their body's just developing? And so there's no way in my world that we're going to allow this to exist.
All right, let me get these clips from Patricia Owen, Pastor Odin Maxwell. Go, Jeff. God has so anointed you for this position. God is blessing us with blessing you. And another one, Dave is right. Oh my God, somebody said I'm right. Oh, you will do many things there. Looking forward to visiting you there. All right, cool. So maybe we'll have a little bus going up there. All right.
Hey, that'll be fun. I'll enjoy it. You know, the great thing about this is that I'm not going to change just because I have a title. I'm going to be the same type of person I am. And if I can at any time, swing it once I get into office, and if I'm confirmed, then I'd love to come on your show and be able to talk to everybody just like I am. I'll just have a different title.
Well, that's great. I mean, I'm so proud of you. I mean, it's amazing that you've done this, and it's better than what you expected to be doing in the first place, because you're going to be focused on as an individual with Robert F. Kennedy, and then you have possibilities for other things to be participating in to help this country heal itself and to go forward with it. I mean, you're going to be a rock star pretty soon. You see that commercial with the rock star, but a bump.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm still gonna be the same person that I've always been. The difference is that I'm just gonna have a title that will give me the authority to make change and stuff. And the thing is that coming from if you're looking at what Trump is doing, he's looking for disruptors. He's looking for people who are loyal, not necessarily loyal to him, but loyal to the Constitution. He loves America. I love America. He loves the Constitution. I love the Constitution. He wants what is best for the American people. I want what is best for the American people. These are the type of people that he's actually looking at with Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, and each one of us bring to the table our unique personalities and our backgrounds. But more importantly, there's a common thread that our country and we the people are not negotiable any longer. We're tired of the and the thing that has been stated over and over from Pete, from Pam Bondi, that's going to be spoken from me out of my mouth is that when I'm talking with the Democrats, the people have spoken, and they duly elected President Trump as their president, and they're wanting change, and they're tired of the status quo. And this is what we're now bringing forward, and this is the emphasis that we're all going to now start serving the people.
You're going to get a little bipartisanship from some of them who realize that they've been wrong for a lot. Some of them actually probably realize they've been wrong a lot, because there's a stage of them being in denial, and how could they do this to us, and how could and they're arguing amongst themselves. I would think that some of them are sort of like moving over, like the so-called oligarchs in social media. They're all kissing the ring, so to speak. And I think Trump feels much better than he did in 2016. That he feels better now with his position, and he thinks of himself as a real leader instead of some guy who's just being pushed around a lot by lies and threats and all that other stuff. What do you think?
Well, one of the things that's different about President Trump is this. Having a near-death experience the way he did with the assassination bullet hitting his ear and him being that close to death changed him. He's not as boisterous as he once was. Now he's just determined to make sure that this country has changed this time. The other thing is that he's surrounding himself by people that are outside of Washington, D.C., and he's trying to get outside the swamp. And so just like with me, there's two departments that end the day that I am accepted. And if I am confirmed, there's two departments that disappear that day, which is DEI and the LGBTQ departments. And the reason why is that, in the Bible, it states that God created us male and female. I don't care what you identify as, and I don't care what you think you are or anything else. In the bottom of the day, you have either XX chromosomes or XY chromosomes. You're either male or you're female. And so these are things that we're going to be looking at, and we're going to treat the human body for what it is. So when teaching anatomy and physiology, the two cadavers that were always presented to all my students that I taught one was male and the other one was female. And we talked and we looked at the anatomy of both and the difference of both, and how God wonderfully created us human beings in his own image. And so this is what's going to Washington, D.C. in that position, instead of having somebody who thinks that they're a woman, but he has male parts. And so I don't call him a she, I call him a he, because, if you watch Kindergarten Cop, the little boy tells you everything you need to know. Little boys have a penis, little girls have a vagina, and that's exactly how we are born and how we end up. And I don't care how you mutilate your body in between.
Well, that's good stuff. I don't know. I can't think of a better day than listening to you tell me that you're going to get that job, and I'm so proud of you. I really am.
Well, I appreciate it.
Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and contribute? You want money for? Obviously, you got some Ryan money that might be moved, right?
Yes, we need Ryan. So you can go to givesendgo.com/Ryan Zink. That's if you want to donate. But hopefully before long, one of the things that I put out there is that every J6er, when it comes to restitution, should get $17.76, 2020, and 6 cents. So that's $17,672,020 and 6 cents, and that's for the revolution that took place in 1776. And the so-called Fedsurrection. I call it the Fedsurrection, not the insurrection, of January 6th in 2020. And we're going to take back this country. We're going to do things that are at the will of the people. And so this is what's so important. But Ryan's still taking on the chin because he has a Democrat liberal probational officer that has literally tried to bully him around and stuff. And so this is not something that is going to go away until, noon on the 20th. So we've got to, as J6ers, we're still fighting.
Stay in touch, because it's important stuff that we get this thing done. And I have some more advice for you, especially since you're looking for a new house. And this is for you and Stephanie. If you want your house cleaned, invite your wife's parents to dinner.
Exactly.
A little advice, just a little advice, because I know you're a smart guy. You probably know that already. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend. God bless you, and God bless your family, and Ryan and Stephanie. And so I'm very proud of you, and I look forward to coming to see you actually put in office, so to speak.
Yep, I'll
Right?
be and we'll have a time together where I take my oath of office and stuff, and then we're going to roll up our sleeves and go to work.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Dave.
Zink, the new assistant to Robert F. Kennedy. See you, my friend.
All right, talk to you later. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, gang, pretty good show, huh? And a good ending. And wow, it's going to be an amazing week next week with Donald Trump being inaugurated, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what the left is going to try, if anything. Hopefully, we'll be ready, and hopefully the people in office will be ready. So I don't know what your weather situation. I know it's going to get bad on the East Coast, and it's going to get very cold here again. What the hell's going on with this? I'm going to call the golf course, and I'm going to call whoever's running it, and I'm just going to say, is it car path only today? I just want to say that. You know, come on, I got to get out there. This is not good. The last time I played, I was in Jamaica. Okay, this is not good. So that's my whine for the day, and I'm a Weinbaum, so I can whine if I want to. Damn it! All right, thank you so much. It's been a great show. I'll be back in another week with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show.